Man. Dude, all of these live streams, this is nuts. This is crazy. What's up, guys? Good afternoon. Hopefully you guys are all locked in for NBA. Just wrapped up the NBA VIP voice chat in the RunDFS.com premium Discord. And now I need to hunker down, kind of get my thoughts settled for this baseball slate that locks in 3 hours. So we're going to try and get this stream done inside of maybe an hour. And that'll give me 2 hours-ish to do the premium voice chat for Discord. So appreciate you guys that have been vibing with me throughout the day. A lot of you guys joined me during the NBA stream earlier. I did promise we'd come back with the baseball stream. Man, this has been nuts. I mean, the FanDuel NBA lock-in early, and then I got caught up with a couple late swaps. Dennis Schroeder was ruled out late, so I had to go back and redo that. And then at that point, I was just like, might as well get DraftKings out the way. So yeah, that Raptors Miami game producing some fakeness for real. Van Vliet, huge game out of him. But anyway, we're gonna chop up this MLB slate for FanDuel and DraftKings. A couple of higher tier pitchers on today's slate. Hopefully, it will give us a better chance to anchor our single pitcher site lineups. Guys like Garrett Cole, Walker Buehler, Chris Paddock on the slate. Not necessarily the best matchups for any of them, but at least we have some guys with talent that we know we might be able to bank on. Anyway, let's get cranked up here. You guys know the deal. If you guys want access to that RunDFS.com MLB VIP spreadsheet, go to RunDFS.com, get signed up, try out a week pass. If you have any questions about that, Twitter.com/GundackerSports. That's how you can reach out to me. But we're gonna go head first into it. Shout out to the live chat. We'll interact with live chat in a minute. So if you guys are watching live, two things: hit that thumbs up for me, drop some notes, some knowledge in the chat, say what's up. We'll show you some love. Game number one today: Phillies and the Yankees. Yankees are on an incredible stretch, and as a Yankee fan, it's been a fun ride. Jake Arrieta's taking the bump for the Phillies. He missed the second half of last season, pitched the first half with bone spurs in his elbow. He said he's feeling fine. He's ready to have a strong season in the final year of his current contract. He'll be up against Garrett Cole. Cole 2-0 on the season, 3.09 ERA, 12 strikeouts on the year. He's going to aim to notch his third victory of the year, coming off 6 2/3 inning effort against the Orioles on Wednesday. Cole has struck out 12 against 3 walks in 11 2/3 innings. He's 4-3 with a 3.38 ERA and 7 career starts against the Phillies. So Garrett Cole, a lot of people might open up DraftKings, click his name, and kind of decide to themselves that he didn't have a great game against the Orioles with just 23 fantasy points. But I'm here to tell you, those last 3 pitches he threw were double, home run, double. So he barely skated by to get that quality start. He didn't get the win that game because that was a game, I believe they tied it up. And did he get the win? I think he did get the win that game. Actually, it should tell me right here, right? Yeah, he did get the win that game. So 23 fantasy points with the win, it might be a little discouraging, but had it not been for those last 3 pitches, maybe that 23 looks a little bit more like a 27-28, which at this stage in the season you'll take. Something to take away from that game is he did throw 100+ pitches, so that's encouraging. That lets you kind of believe that he is pretty much stretched out and ready to go. Last couple games for the Yankees have been odd, to say the least, against the Red Sox. Yesterday was a slugfest, and they went to all of the front-end guys. We got that bullpen usage chart, but they used guys like Adam Ottavino, had to go to Zach Britton. So maybe they try and get a little bit more length out of Garrett Cole today. Who else came out? Michael King ate up a lot of the mid-tier innings, which is the second time he's had to back up James Paxton. But Ottavino threw 25. The game prior to that, David Hell and Nick Nelson ate up some innings in the middle. Chad Green hasn't pitched in 3 days, so we probably see some Chad Green out of the pen today. And then I don't know, 25 pitches for Ottavino's up there, but maybe you see some Ottavino here. I probably anticipate Garrett Cole trying to go at least 6 and then maybe try to bridge the gap with a Chad Green and someone like that. Aroldis Chapman is active. but I don't know when we'll see him. I think they're trying to build up his arm strength. But like I said, bullpen guys can get built up a little bit quicker since they only have to throw 10 to 20 pitches in an appearance. Matchup-wise, it's hard to like anyone against Garrett Cole, and the Phillies are coming off, a week break after a scare with coronavirus. So are they a little bit rusty? Do they got to get kind of caught back up to see what live pitching looks like, and much less live pitching from last year's best pitcher, in my opinion. So it's hard to love anyone in particular against Garrett Cole. I will say he does have a home run bugaboo more so to lefties. So if you thought someone can get by his 44% K rate to lefties, maybe a Harper, maybe Didi Gregorius, who has a knack for hitting elite pitchers, and just a 13.5% strikeout rate. Maybe he stays hot and kind of is a surprise bomb off of Garrett Cole. You'll likely get pretty low ownership on all of the Phillies, so maybe in tournaments you kind of leverage yourself with some chalky core stacks with some low percentage one-offs and chip and chair shots on Didi. And then, of course, if Didi had a shot at like a Chad Green or somebody like that, it becomes a little bit more realistic, right? Phillies have an implied run total of 3.3. I always say this, but one of my favorite bets in just betting sports is teams over 3. And in this case, the Phillies have that. So there's just way too many opportunities in 9 innings for a bloop and a blast and a bullpen homer. So I don't mind looking at the Phillies over 3.5 runs here, especially if Garrett Cole gets a little bit in trouble early on and has to stretch out. Especially also the Yankees are minus 300 favorites with a 6 implied run total. So if that game kind of plays out towards that game script, the Yankees wouldn't be bringing in front end bullpen guys. They bring in some like Loasicas or something like that, and it's a little bit easier to score on them. So I don't hate the Phillies over 3.5 runs from a betting perspective. On the Yankees side, who do we like against Jake Arrieta? Everyone, right? Aaron Judge will likely draw a lot of ownership because he's on one incredible stretch. 6 homers in his last 5 games. It's insane what he's doing right now. He is my favorite player, so I'm enjoying the ride. But eventually your home run streak comes to an end. Will it come to an end here? I don't know. They pancaked him between LeMahieu and Hicks, and one of the things that's not getting enough credit here is Judge is getting some good pitches to see because DJ LeMahieu's getting on in front of him last night. We saw that in the later innings where Mike Tauchman got on, stole first, DJ singled him home, and then when DJ's on first base, you pitch to him. Earlier that night, DJ got on, and a wild pitch sent DJ LeMahieu to second, and a 2-0 count to Judge became a don't even play with him walk. So Judge is, I believe, getting the benefit of more pitches to hit because he's having a high on-base percentage guy like DJ LeMahieu in front of him being on base. And then, of course, behind him, now having Hicks today instead of Gleyber Torres. Gleyber Torres getting a day off, and then Stanton's been seeing the ball really well. So the Yankees lineup is extremely scary, and this is probably as lefty-heavy as possible that you'll see him. The only thing else they could have done is maybe put Mike Tauchman in the lineup. But other than that, having 4 lefties here is going to be one of the more lefty-heavy lineups in the not-too-distant future for the Yankees. Got to love the Yankee stack all the way around. The Phillies bullpen has not been super stellar either. The Phillies play like Yankees light. We saw these two teams scrimmage in the preseason. It wasn't really producing a ton of runs, but I definitely feel like the Yankees are on one type of run right now, and they're coming off this series against the Red Sox where they played that in Yankee Stadium, so it's not like they had to do some travel here. Garrett Cole for sure will be in my player pool, 11K. I do think the argument can be made today that there's plenty of pivots. There's Jacob deGrom on this slate. There's Walker Buehler on the slate. Mike Soroka could be a solid pick today. Yesterday, the Braves and Mets early on was a lot of traffic and then a lot of strikeouts. Frankie Montas. I really like today's slate for pitching. So I don't think you have to load up on Garrett Cole, especially since hasn't looked super elite in the first two starts, but I think he's getting there. And the Phillies offense is probably an offense I respect more than what they've done so far. So I probably wouldn't jam him as a 70%er, but I definitely have to have him in the mix, right? What's up, chat? What up, Earth to Air? What up, K Johnson? What up, Justin Sports? Hopefully you guys are vibing out, having a good afternoon. Let's move on to the next game here. Atlanta Braves hosting the New York Mets. Mets are part of a little bit of a I don't want to say controversy, but yesterday Yoenis Cespedes opted out of the 2020 season, but the Mets made it seem like he just straight up no-showed and he went AWOL, and then of course those reports made me fear the worst. But it sounds like when you peel back those layers, something happened for Cespedes and the Mets to kind of fall out. So no more Cespedes unless he opts back in for the Mets. Today we'll see Jacob deGrom taking on Mike Soroka. Jacob deGrom, 1.64 ERA on the season, despite delivering a quality start and hitting a career-high 101.1 mile per hour in his last outing. deGrom received a no decision. The Mets have lost more of his starts than they've won in the past 3 seasons. He's one of the upper echelon best pitchers in the game that might just end up going to waste because of his offense's lack of coming through for him. Mike Soroka, 1.59 ERA so far. He worked 10 consecutive scoreless innings to open the season, then faltered near the end of Wednesday's 5 1/3 inning effort against the Rays. Soroka produced a 1.07 ERA through his first 8 starts last season. So both pitchers in play here. Obviously, deGrom more in play. He has already faced the Braves, I believe, this season. I think that was his first game, Atlanta. He went 5 innings, got 26 fantasy points on 72 pitches. So there's a good chance he could see 30 more pitches in this outing since he went 88 last start. You could always add maybe 10, 15 start to start. So if he's vibing, if he's cruising, he might even get you 6 innings and a shot at a quality start. You never hold your breath on a win for him. The Mets have an implied run total of 4.2. Braves are at 3.8. So certainly viable to throw deGrom in the mix. Hard to love any particular bat against them. But again, on a slate that features Coors and the Yankees, you might get some sneaky one-offs with some Braves bats. And like I said, some Phillies bats. Any history here, they are division rivals. Anything that sticks out. 3 homers for Freeman, batting .273. Nothing insane, right? All right, normal stuff. So at 11.6 for deGrom, the only case against him, I guess, is the fact that he's more expensive than Garrett Cole, and you feel like Garrett Cole has a shot at similar results. And I think to start the season, we would at least have to say that the Braves offense has looked a little bit better than the Phillies. But the Phillies coming off a week-long break could shake things up. We did get a confirmed Mets lineup out, so I can update that while we're here. We got Nimmo, Jeff McNeil, Pete Alonso, Michael Conforto, Robbie Cano, Wilson Ramos is going to be batting 6th. In the 7th spot, Dom Smith. Then we got Andres Jimenez. And I don't even have stats on him. And then Ahmed Rosario. So that's our confirmed Mets lineup. What are our leaks with Soroka? Going back to last season, he gave up a higher average to lefties with a 4.59 xFIP. And outside of 1, 2, 3 hitters, this Mets lineup is going to be super lefty heavy. So maybe they can break through, crack the ice here a little bit, and produce a couple of decent plays. I think on FanDuel, the Mets are all really, really cheap, and I can understand getting to some one-offs. But the game total, the team total is nothing to throw everything out of the way and get through. That Mets bullpen has just been atrocious, though, so it might even stand more to reason to have some Braves one-offs, and then when deGrom gets out of the game, they can take advantage of just a horrendous bullpen guy, right? Justin Sports says, I'm the biggest deGrom guy there is, I'm sure this is going to have something to do with the Mets offense, right? K. Johnson says, I would love to play deGrom, but the bats never show up when he pitches. He needs to be traded. He is pitching to Freeman. You can see it in his face. Yeah, I mean, I don't think any pitcher enjoys pitching to Freddie Freeman. But I hate the fact that Travis d'Arnaud is on the other side. Yeah, I feel it. And as far as trading DeGrom, I mean, didn't he just sign a fat contract? Maybe that's on him. All these guys that are stuck in like tough spots where you feel like their career might be wasted, like Mike Trout signed that huge deal. Well, he signed that huge deal. So what can you do? Let's move on to the next game. Pirates at the Twins. Derek Holland taking on Lewis Thorpe. Derek Holland, 3.18 ERA on the season. He pitched well in his Pirates debut, giving up 2 runs while striking out 5 batters over 5 2/3 innings versus the Brewers. He's going to face a tough challenge in his second start against the Twins lineup loaded with right-handed power. Lewis Thorpe pitching for the Twins. He's the number 10 prospect for the Twins. He's going to make his 3rd appearance and first start of the season in Monday's series opener. He has allowed 3 hits in 4 2/3 scoreless innings of relief in 2020. So we probably treat him as an opener, and because of that, we probably don't consider playing him at 8.4K on DraftKings. And then Derek Holland, you did your thing, dog, but that's going to be a no for me. Coming into the season with a 5.78 xFIP to righties, allowing nearly a 3 home run per 9. That's 84 innings of sample size last year. I mean, this should be a big blow-up spot potentially for the Twins. They have an implied run total of 5.7 runs. We love Twins here, and we love Twins righties. Mitch Garver, Nelson Cruz, Miguel Sano, all guys I can load up. It would have been nice to see a healthy Josh Donaldson in the lineup. He's not going to make the lineup, but definitely even mixing in the fact that you can get guys like Luis Arias for when they get past Derek Holland. I can handle that. Mauro Gonzalez, a little switchy on both sides. But I love the 3-stack here. Garver is a good catcher option, 2,500 on FanDuel. A lot of people don't like to play catcher on FanDuel because you don't have to. 2,500 is such a nice price in this position to lead off for this team, this offense, and get a crack at Derek Holland. So hopefully people continue to not play catchers because I think the opportunity cost is way too low because it's going to cost you almost $2,000 more on his counterpart site and his counterpart price on DraftKings. Love me that. Nelson Cruz, expensive on both sites, makes a lot of sense. It's Nelson Cruz against a left-handed pitcher. You know how that go. Has double dong potential. We've seen that this season. And then Miguel Sano's actually had a double dong so far this season as well. But give me Mitch Garver on FanDuel, and I just hope he goes low owned because he has because he's a catcher. What do we do past the Pirates? Let's go look at the bullpen usage chart in the RunDFS.com MLB VIP spreadsheet. Lately, we've seen Chad Kuhl pitch. Man, they went to a lot of arms yesterday. So I wonder how many of those guys doubled down. Chris Stratton pitched 15 the day prior. Yeah, who knows what they're going to go with that bullpen today. But Twins offense is thumbing. I like them a lot. I don't have to dabble with chasing bullpen, middle inning relievers, guys like that. I did that yesterday. I don't want another pitching slate like yesterday for the rest of my freaking life, bro. It was ugly, bro. It was ugly. But I like this spot for the Twins offense. I'll have a whole lot of them. No Holland for me. And we're moving on. Brewers hosting the White Sox. Brewers coming off an extended rest because of a corona scare in their series. We have Carlos Rodon taking on Brett Anderson, another battle of southpaws. Rodon, 12.27 ERA this season. He allowed 5 earned runs over 3 2/3 innings, and he fanned 4 against Cleveland during his first start since Tommy John surgery in May 2019. He will be pitching on an extra day of rest. Brett Anderson, after a 10-day IL stint for a blister, he's going to start the season. Anderson waited out 3 postponements over the weekend against the Cardinals before getting his chance to make his Brewers debut here. Anderson, we know, is going to be a contact pitcher, just a 7.7% swing and strike rate, a less than 13% K rate to righties, a less than 10% K rate to lefties, high xFIP to both sides of the plate. This is a great spot for the White Sox to tee off in a hitter-friendly Miller Park, and pending what that lineup is, we've been seeing Luis Robert as their leadoff guy. Love that spot for him. You can throw in Moncada, Abreu, Grandal, E5. Like this White Sox lineup should be stacked, and they will absolutely be probably one of my core stacks on the day. I'm loving White Sox. I'm loving Twins. Obviously, I'll always have my Yankee stacks But there's plenty of competition for Coors Field right now in terms of other teams to score a lot of runs. Implied run total for the White Sox sitting at 5. The Brewers at 5.1. Brewers are actually a slight favorite, and I might be off base here, but I got to go Brewers. I think we've seen some weird pitchers mow down this Brewers team. Like I said, they're coming off a little bit of a extended rest. It's been a tough start for a lot of their hitters, a lot of strikeouts. And Carlos Rodon, to his credit, I know that last start was a little rough. He does come into the season with a 12% swing and strike rate. He does have strikeout potential at a 28.6% K rate to righties in 2019. So if he can keep it somewhat clean, I could see him holding enough for this offense to get through. So I don't know that I loved him enough to play him, right? Because he's always had command issues, walk issues. But from a money line standpoint, I could definitely get behind the White Sox here until the Brewers have that game. In and of themselves, though, guys like Keston Hiura, Jed Jerko, Avisail Garcia, Justin Smoke, all these guys are perennial lefty masters lately in the last 2 years. Only Christian Yelich slugging over 500. A little bit ironic because he's been off to such a slow start, and the rest of the team slugging under 500. But we know historically that guys like Garcia and Smoke can get there. So hard to love the Brewers right now. But I guess at the end of the day, it is a plus park for hitting. But I love this White Sox stack. White Sox stack is going to be, unless they come up with some weird lineup, that's going to be one of my favorite stacks of the day from where I'm sitting now, right? Sano's BVP is amazing versus Pittsburgh. All right. We love BVP. Let's go look it out. Let's go look at it since you brought it up, right? Miguel Sano. When you say against Pittsburgh or against Derek Holland? Miguel Sano is 3 for 5 with 2 bombs. All right, not a lot of sample size there. Relax. But we love contact. I love contact pitchers against high strikeout guys like Miguel Sano, and that's what Derek Holland will be. So I'll take it. All right, let's move on to the next game. Royals at the Cubs. We got Danny Duffy taking on Alec Mills, lefty. Danny Duffy will make his third start. He struck out 8 batters in 5 innings in his last outing, but he gave up 3 hits, 4 runs, and an eventual 5-4 Royals loss. He'll be up against Alec Mills. Mills, in his 2020 debut, held the Reds to 2 runs in 6 innings, ending with 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, 10 ground ball outs against the Reds. He has a 2.67 ERA in 8 career games on the road compared to a 4.64 ERA at home in a 12-game sample size. So kind of wishy-washy stat there with home road ERA, but something that we'll throw in there. His strikeout rates, particularly to righties, really high. 2018, 40%. 2019, 34%. So we might expect a little bit of regression there as we get broader length out of him. But this is a Royals team. That's pretty much half and half. We got Soler could definitely be a 1-4 strikeout guy. That's Francie. Man, a lot of their high strikeout guys are batting lefty today. Mondesi went all the way down to the 8 spot. That's wild. Brett Phillips, high strikeout guy. So I could see Alec Mills kind of going 2 ways here. He does have some inherent lefty issues, even though it is just a small sample size from last season. But a 321 average allowed on a 5.74 xFIP. Hard contact a little bit above average and a high line drive rate. Maybe we'll see if that has translated to this season. I don't know. I probably don't find myself having to take unnecessary chances at pitching today, but I am curious. Splits so far this season against lefties for Alec Mills, 0 average, 154 OBP. So obviously a 0 BABIP seems a little bit unsustainable for 1 strikeout in 13 total batters faced. Yeah, not enough there to draw any assumptions. And then Danny Duffy. Can we talk about Duffy's start to the season? Because I feel like he's done way better than I kind of projected him for. So let me pull up his game log. and check out a few things. So xFIP from the Detroit game was 2.46, impressive. And then at Cleveland, 6.48. Cleveland was the first game, and I stacked Cleveland. It just kind of fell through the wayside because he was getting a little bit more lucky. And then the game where he pitches better, he gets unlucky. That's baseball for you. But strikeout-wise in that last game, a 14.4 K per nine because of 8 strikeouts and 5 innings pitched. So play discipline-wise, he had a 13.3% swinging strike rate on an over 70% first pitch strike rate, which he had 60% first pitch strike rate against the Indians too. So it may not be the most insane play to take a couple of stabs at Duffy as an SP2 option at 6.6 K. It's definitely not a warm and fuzzy play by any stretch. Cubs have a 4.4 implied run total, so one of the more modest run totals, and it looks like wind is blowing in from left field. So there is at least a case to be made that Duffy could be a SP2 punt, still give you room for a solid SP1, and then have some money for a solid team stacks behind it too. So I don't know. I might end up with a little bit of the Duffmeister. Let me see. I also promise never to call him a Duffmeister. 75 pitches last start, so might get that to 85-90. Relax, Cujo. Relax. Yeah, I could get behind that. But there are, if you want to run that back with a couple Cubs stacks, Chris Bryant has not waken up yet. He's really cheap on, I would say really cheap. He's probably cheaper than Chris Bryant usually is on FanDuel at 38. We know Javi Baez can beat up lefties. But outside, and Rizzo, of course, but it's lefty on lefty matchup. Wilson Contreras. So if you can get through a couple of these bats here, there are some strikeouts to be had. Bryant had a 1-4 K rate against lefties. Baez 22%, Contreras 26%, 30% on Schwarber. I don't hate the idea of Duffy as an SP2 punt. I don't think I get there on FanDuel at all. But as an SP2 punt to give me 6.6 K, would I live with a shot at 15 fantasy points? I think I'd take it. I think I would. So I don't hate it. Sano's BVP. What up, Danny? Hey. Noodle. All right. Giants at the Rockies. Next game on the docket. We do have official lineups from both sides. So real quick, we got Yastrzemski, Alex Dickerson, Donovan Solano, Brandon Belt, Longoria, Wilmer Flores, Brandon Crawford, Chadwick Tromp 2020. Steven Duggar. There's your official Giants lineup. Of course, this is our Coors Field matchup, which is going to be one of the more inflated run totals. David Dahl, Trevor Story, Charlie Blackmon, Arenado, Daniel Murphy, McMahon, Matt Kemp back in the lineup batting 7th. We saw a homer out of him over the weekend. Chris Owings, and then Tony Walters. Matter of fact, I think he homered yesterday, didn't he? And he was like a late addition, and he wasn't in my opto right before lock. Implied run total 6.5 for the Giants, 7.1 for the Rockies. They're projecting a shootout, typical Coors Field stuff. Chichi Gonzalez going to start over Jeff Hoffman, it looks like. His 2019 late season surge, his spring and his summer outings have earned him this opportunity. And he also has a solid pitch mix. He'll be up against Johnny Cueto, 5,100 on DraftKings, 57 on FanDuel. At best, both these guys will probably serve as a contact pitcher. You're going to be looking for a lot of ground ball outs. I think we've seen that from Johnny Cueto. And, of course, we have seen that from Chichi Gonzalez, 41.5% ground ball rate. A little bit more than his fly ball rate, and his line drive rate's kind of concerning, all things considered. Obviously, we're not getting behind either pitcher here. It's just a matter of could they hold the damage at bay to kind of lurk elsewhere. The Giants stack for a Coors Field game is really, really cheap on FanDuel. Like, stupid cheap. Like, literally cheaper than some of these other teams. And I think because of that, it'll inflate their potential upside, their potential ownership. Because you're getting just a solid opportunity for that run total. On the Rocky side, it's not as much of a discount, especially not on DraftKings, and that's really twofold. I mean, Mike Yastrzemski's bench almost 6K on DraftKings. That's a tough pill to swallow. So I mean, this is just general Coors Field analysis, man. If you're gonna run 150, you're gonna have some Coors stacks. You're gonna have stacks from both teams. Makes too much sense. Not really a believer in either of these pitchers. Might look at Johnny Cueto's historical spits for Coors Field. I think we can do that on his ESPN card. We'll pull that up. Just kind of see how he's done. So splits, ESPN.
Your ace is not there. How do you manage that situation?
All right, we gotta shut that off. I don't want to get copyrighted. Hold on. All right. Well, we won't worry about that for now. What we will see is just how much Cueto has been a ground ball pitcher so far this season. So let's pull up his FanGraphs card. Let's go pull up splits. And then let's go look at ground ball rates, which would be right here. So against righties, a 46% ground ball. Actually, he's not been a big ground ball guy. Almost a 40% fly ball rate. That could be a problem. Infield hit is a little higher. Pull rate's high so far against righties. So it looks like he's ready to implode against righties, but he does have a 1.2 ground ball to fly ball ratio. So 46% is fine. It's just not. It's not 69% from his limited sample size last year. So righties against that, Nolan Arenado, sure. Trevor Story, sure. It's Coors. Play Coors. Let's move on to the next game. Mariners hosting the Athletics. Frankie Montas against Justice Sheffield. On the surface, I did like Frankie Montas as a SP2 option. He's 0-1 with a 3.0 ERA on the season. He took the loss in his last start on Wednesday against the aforementioned Rockies, despite pitching well, allowing just 2 runs over 5 innings. Justice Sheffield, former Yankee great, pitching for the Mariners. He's 0-1 with a 2.0 ERA. 24-year-old struggled with his command in his season debut, allowing 4 runs on 3 hits and 4 walks in 3+ innings against the Angels. He held the A's to 1 run in 5 innings in his final outing in 2019 as a late-season call-up. Implied run total for the Athletics here, 5.3. The Mariners, 3.8. Montes at 7.2. Might obviously like him a little bit more than Danny Duffy. And we saw last year, before he got suspended for PEDs, he was having some big-time games. I like that his xFIP was sub-4. He was getting strikeouts, and this is a Mariners team that so far this season, we've been pitching against them. Sometimes it's works, sometimes it's not. But built into here, Austin Nola, Kyle Lewis, Evan White, Jose Marmolejos, Shed Long. I mean, there's a lot of 1-4 plus strikeouts, not just 1-5. So a lot of strikeout potential to be had. If we go look at the pitch report, I do want to compare his velocity last year to what we saw in his first outing. But he had a 97 mile an hour or 96.6, almost 97 mile an hour average fastball velocity coming into the season. So let's pull that up. Let's go pull up his game log. Frankie. By the way, have a new keyboard and mouse. Trying to break it in. It's fun. Game log. Pitch type from the first game. Loading. Fastball velocity was at 95 against Colorado and then moved it up to 96. So he's almost where he was. That's a good sign. Sliders at 85 to 86.5. So his slider went up a mile and a half. It was at 88. So there's some room for his slider to go up a little bit more, and his slider was really his best pitch. So we'll be watching that. The Mariners against the slider, all pretty bad ratings for those who even have sample size. So I definitely think Frankie Montas is going to be a great look as an SP2 option here. And it's more of a pitcher's park. So 7.2K on DraftKings. Right now he's baked in as a near -200 favorite. So it could scoop the win should he go 5+ innings. How many pitches did he get up to? I like that he's already pitched 2 games. He threw 77-81. So if he stays around the 80 pitches, that's cool. But it looks like there's at least room for 90 pitches, if not a little bit more. So Montes is probably a de facto SP2 candidate. Justin Sheffield, not for me, high contact pitcher right now against righties. Just a high average allowed, high xFIP, and he has command issues. So Athletics could be a stack that get lower ownership. They do have some guys that don't hate against lefties for a little bit of power. Mark Canha, historically, last 2 years, is somebody that slugs over 500 against lefties. Ramon Laureano, good little track record. Even Matt Chapman can get into one if you need him to. Chatty Pendergrass, and then of course when he gets to this Mariners bullpen, all bets are off. So the Athletics bats might be some fun one-offs to kind of sprinkle into some lineups here, because certainly some runs to be had, as they have one of the higher implied run totals on the slate, the Athletics, 5.3 right now. So don't mind looking at them. I will want to go back to this White Sox lineup real quick, because they did confirm their lineup, and that was one of my favorite stacks so far. Robert, Moncada, Abreu, Grandal, no Encarnacion. So in the 5 spots going to be Eloy Jimenez, and James McCann is starting, and we know he has pop against lefties. He's probably going to be the catcher while Grandal DHs, and then Lori Garcia batting 7th, Adam Engel, and then Nick Madrigal. So that's a confirmed lineup for the White Sox. So I love 1 through 5, and McCann is a guy that can hit with great power. McCann has a couple of homers already on the season. If we pull that up real quick, 3,700. Yeah, he's got 2 homers in 3 of his games thus far. So has not given you less than 6 fantasy points in any game. So I definitely like McCann as a cheaper catcher option. Let's get moving on to the main event tonight. Before I do that, take a pause for the cause. Let you guys know that after the stream is the after party, and after the party, okay. I'll be in the RunDFS.com VIP voice chat, counting down till lock, making my player pool and talking some plays with you guys. If you guys want to be part of that, go to RunDFS.com, get signed up, man. Once you make an account, click VIP passes, find the pass right for you. Every pass includes access to everything, right? The Discord, the voice chats, and all the spreadsheets. So you don't even have to use the Discord. You don't even have to listen to me. You can just use the spreadsheet, because I do believe this is a powerful research tool to expedite your daily research process every day. But in addition to that, if you wanted to know my personal player pool, I do share that. I have this guns worksheet tab, guys that I like at each position, pitchers, my stacks, all that good stuff. So if you're just curious to compare your stuff to my stuff, that's there for you as well. And it's a good way to support the stream, support me, support the YouTube channel. Main event tonight, the Dodgers at the Padres, a pair of really young stud pitchers, Walker Buehler versus Chris Paddack. Buehler, 4.9 ERA with just 3 strikeouts. He was behind the other starters throughout summer camp and lasted just 3 2/3 innings when he started Tuesday against the Houston Astros, retiring 11 of the first 12, but then allowing 3 straight batters to reach. He'll be up against Chris Paddack, 1-0 with a 1.64 ERA. Paddack has said that he views the challenges posed by a deep Dodgers lineup as, quote, a measuring stick for his own progress. He faced LA 3 times last season, posting a 5.65 ERA. Monday marks his first career start against the Dodgers at Petco Park. So I love Chris Paddack as a pitcher. I think he's going to be one of the best pitchers in the league in a couple years. This is a really tough spot to get behind him against a stacked Dodgers lineup. But that $7,600 price tag, I will say, I think his talent exceeds the price point. So use that as you may. Will that $7,600 outscore a guy like a $7,200 Frankie Montas or a Danny Duffy or something like that? I think it's possible, but it's certainly a tougher matchup, right? A 1.51 home run per 9 coming into this season against lefties with a higher xFIP to lefties. We know the Dodgers will be lefty-righty, lefty-righty. So there's no bats off in this lineup. But I certainly think in mass-filled tournaments, if you wanted to get a little bit creative, Paddack could maybe fall into a quality start and maybe get you 6, 7, 8 strikeouts if he's really, really on. But not something I would put in a cash game or a single entry or something like that. And on 9,100 on FanDuel, I'm probably out. Walker Buehler, I'm worried about pitch count here, right? On a slate that gives us DeGrom and Garrett Cole and guys like that. He threw just 56 pitches in that last start. Maybe he went to the bullpen, threw some more, but he was late in spring training. So it's really hard to project him for anything over 70, and even that's probably stretching. So because of that 10K price tag, I think I got to stay away from Buehler. Now, if this was a fully unleashed Walker Buehler, I'd be a buyer. I love the Padres team. I love Tatis, Grisham, Machado, fam. Like, I've been playing them every slate. But there's certainly some strikeouts to be had here, and Walker Buehler's just different, right? He's a different caliber pitcher. So I would be an investor and a buyer, but I think because of his pitch count, I just don't get there today. I play a little bit safer, and maybe that makes the Padres a little bit contrarian because Coors and then the Twins and the White Sox, guys like that. But if they get into this Dodgers bullpen, which I don't think is a pushover bullpen by any stretch, but maybe they have some surprise runs that maybe you didn't project because a lot of people are just thinking, oh, Machado versus Buehler, blah 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 blah. Dodgers bullpen last couple games, I think we've been seeing Joe Kelly still getting stretched out while appealing that suspension. Kenley Jansen threw 21 pitches yesterday. Pedro Baez threw 27 yesterday. So maybe guys like Caleb Ferguson get back in the mix. He's a lefty. We love the Dodgers against lefties. Victor Gonzalez, another lefty. Maybe he gets some time. They have a lot of lefties in his bullpens. Adam Kolarek, Jake McGee. Maybe you get some of those plus lefty versus Tatis and Pham matchups, and maybe that's a fun pocket play for our late slate lineups or even our main slate lineups, right? Implied run total, I think we said, was 3.8 for the Padres and 4.3 for the Dodgers. So all the way around, projected to be low scoring game. Temps in the low 70s. Nothing to get up for, but the Dodgers are just one of those teams that are so talented that I probably stack them no matter what every slate, including this slate, just to have exposure to them, right? See what you guys got in the live chat before we get out of here. Gun, StatMuse, Buehler versus STP count. Oh, yeah, pitch count. Yeah. Worry about that pitch count, bro. But that's it, man. That's the look at today's slate. Let me look at tomorrow's main slate schedule. I would hopefully have some baseball content that is before what we did today. So it looks like 6:05. I wonder if that's 1, 2, 4, 6. So 8-game main slate, considering the Tigers game has been postponed. Okay, 8-game main slate. So maybe I try and squeeze in the content tonight for previewing tomorrow's slate. But I usually like these videos to be up a little bit earlier. But it's just been hitting the ground running, man. All these sports at the same time is wild. But we're gonna try and win as much money as we can while we got it, man. I appreciate you guys. If you guys got any other questions for me, any 1v1s, any pitching questions, twitter.com/GundackerSports. DMs are open. Show me some love, man. Hit me with some retweets. And if you're watching live, help me out. Hit that thumbs up before you get out of here. If you're not subscribed, you like what you hear, you like DFS content, hit that subscribe button. If you ring that notifications bell, you'll actually get push notifications whenever I go live. That's going to do it. I will be in the RunDFS.com VIP voice chat in about 20 minutes. And if you guys want to join me, you can listen in or grab a mic and jump in, join the conversation. That would be cool too. Love to meet new Vipers. I'll see you guys there. Otherwise, I'll see the rest of you guys tomorrow. I love each and every one of you. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money.